Play. 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 Play.
Yeah.
Play. 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 Very good. Play. 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 Hello everyone, and welcome to our inaugural virtual North American Rackets gathering. Drumroll please. I'm Jonathan Larkin, and I'm honored to be the current president of NARA, the North American Rackets Association. Thank you very much for tuning in. Our objective over the next 30 minutes or so is to present two important awards to very deserving recipients, to provide an update on various rackets-related items, and later we'll be hearing from a couple of guest speakers to share some of their valuable insights. First and foremost, we hope you and your families are healthy and have been relatively unscathed by this pandemic. Obviously, the last 12 months have been very challenging, but now there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I think if you're watching this recording, it is safe to say you have greatly missed the game and all the enjoyment we derive from rackets, both on and off the court. We very much look forward to the time when we can get together for a tournament. And tonight I want to be on record, trademarking my first ever hashtag. You ready? Hashtag RacksPostVax. I think Racks Post Vax will stick and can be a vastly superior experience than the roaring 20s that I hear bandied around. Anyway, I digress. Last time many of us were together was almost exactly a year ago in March 2020, when Chicago hosted the US Open and the Western Open was held in Philadelphia. Since then, clubs and courts have been opening and closing, adhering to state regulations, and we've tried to be creative to get people back on court. I want to acknowledge all our teaching professionals here in North America, who have also had a very difficult 12 months. The club closures, very little court time, and the lack of any social interactions with the membership has been challenging, to say the least. I've said it before, but it needs repeating. We are extremely grateful for all that our professionals do for the game of rackets. Their passion and energy to continuously drive the programs ensures that our game remains vibrant and strong, and we recognize that. Thank you. At this juncture, I would like to take a moment to recognize 6 members of our community that we have very sadly lost in the last year. Arthur Whitcomb from New York, Charlie Williams from New York, Ron Bergbauer from Detroit, O.J. Heestand from Chicago, Bill Bartholomew from Chicago, and John Bross from Chicago. We send our sincere condolences to their families. Thank you. Many of you will know of or may have even participated in a Not Stevens tour, a traveling rackets tour set up by Bill Stevens and Jimmy Knott in 1989, over 30 years ago. This tour remains a very important event on the rackets calendar. Every other year, NARA sends 8 enthusiastic rackets players to the UK for a week-long trip to visit and play against schools and clubs. As you might imagine, enormous fun is had, memories are made, and to date, no arrests have been reported. Bill Stevens, having meticulously planned every tour since its inception 30 years ago, has decided to hand over the administrative reins to a younger cohort. As a community, we all owe Bill a huge debt of gratitude for all that he has done. To me, the Knott Stevens Tour epitomizes so much that I love about our game. Additionally, it has been wonderful to hear from participants who have made lifelong transatlantic friendships from their Knott Stevens days. Really special. Later on, we'll hear from Phil Stockton, our captain from the 2019 tour, and when possible, NARA will be acknowledging Bill appropriately for all that he has done. For the time being, thank you very much, Bill. So that's the end of the introductory remarks. I'm excited to get to the main part of the program, and here is how the agenda looks. Following a presentation of the President's Award, I will hand over to Connor, who wears many hats. In addition to being the head rackets professional in Chicago, Connor Medlow is also NARA's communications director and is responsible for merch, as the youngsters would say. After Connor, Lucas Walsh will announce the recipient of the highly coveted Walsh Award for 2020. And then we'll hear from Phil Stockton, who's going to share memories of his Knott Stevens experience. And additionally, we will hear from a couple other members of our community, and we encourage you to stick around till the end for this. So now is the time to award the President's Trophy. This award is given to former presidents of NARA in recognition of their service, dedication, and commitment to the game. It gives me great pleasure to present this award to my great friend Michael McClernand from Montreal. Mike, affectionately known as Smash, has been an enormous supporter of our game in North America for decades, and nobody is more deserving. Mike has been the NARA rep for Montreal for over 13 years and last year completed his 3-year term as president. Mike has been instrumental in growing the game in North America, and he has spearheaded several successful initiatives. For example, NARA sponsors a professionals training weekend once a year where all our teaching professionals gather at one of the clubs to share best practices. We also support an under 35 weekend where members from different clubs can gather and play some competitive rackets, representing their own club. Some of you may know that Mike handled the very serious shortage in supply of rackets balls. How, you may ask? Well, by purchasing the ball making machinery from Nigel Gordon in the UK, out of his estate, and having it shipped in a container to Chicago, where Elmer now produces all our rackets balls. These are only a handful of initiatives where Mike has left his mark. Rackets runs in the blood for the McClernand clan. Many trophy boards are littered with the McClernand names in gold paint across the clubs in North America. I have been fortunate enough to be his Canadian amateur doubles partner for many years, where we have had our highs and our lows. Mike, it gives me great pleasure to present this award to you. It comes with our gratitude for everything you've done for North American rackets, and specifically for your successful term as president of NARA. Many thanks for your unwavering commitment to the game, and we look forward to celebrating this award with you in person at some point in the future.
Jonathan, thank you for your kind words and your great friendship over the last 20 years of us playing rackets together. I wish I was accepting this award on a Thursday of a championship weekend. Unfortunately, I'm in my house on a Sunday, sober, and putting a tie on for the first time in over a year due to COVID. I'd also like to thank the board for all their support. We had a lot of different initiatives going on over the last 3 years, and you can't get anything done without a good team around you, and I appreciate all their help. As you know, it's all voluntary, but we have a great group of people that are supporting the running of our tournaments in North America. In Jonathan's comments, brought back memories of the ball machine. It's probably one of the more difficult deals I've ever had to do. When we had the opportunity to buy the machine, I had to get to know Joanna Gordon, understand what we were buying, which we didn't know. And I really appreciate John Cashman and Elmer for their support. And Elmer, we lobbed him a grenade and said, figure this out. And he did a great job on figuring out the machine and how to save the balls for us here in North America. And we really appreciate all those efforts. I'd also like to thank the Schumacher Foundation for their support financially for purchasing the machine, and also all the benefactors for your extra donations that help the North American Rackets Association thrive. Really, the game was in a full swing just before we got hit by COVID. Unfortunately, we've had to cancel tournaments and lack of play in the clubs. And I can assure you that the board's working hard to be able to set next season up for you. And I would have no doubt that under Jonathan's leadership, we're going to see a rebirth, a revival of the game in North America. So look forward to seeing all you out on the circuit, and hopefully we'll be able to get together at the Quintathlon that New York and Tuxedo have been planning. And so see you soon on the circuit. Thank you.
Hi all, Connor Medlow from the Racket Club of Chicago here. I hope you're all keeping well and excited for some return to play in the near future. I'm going to start on a slightly somber note with the news of Dave McKenzie passing. I first met Dave in 2014 when he was doing his fellowship in Chicago. He met you with a firm handshake or a hug, a smile and a big hello, and this really epitomized Dave's personality. He returned to the North American racket scene again in 2016 for the Quintathlon with his twin brother George, putting in a shift both on and off the court. Our thoughts are with his family at this tough time. I've collaborated with the North American Rackets professionals and will do my best to portray all of their thoughts. I'll try to avoid the words bubble, trusted group, and side to side as much as possible. Rackets was hit hard by the pandemic. People's appetite to play in close proximity and occasionally run into one another in a particularly unpredictable game has been limited. That being said, some of us are already seeing strong movements towards playing, and we believe the programs the professionals have put together will come back stronger in the fall of 2021. One thing is for sure, the pros are missing the camaraderie of the pro shop, the members, and believe it or not, the fellows. Here in Chicago, pickup games are prevalent, and with the way most clubs are operating right now on a reservation-only basis, these are hard to come by. We're all very excited for the banter to recommence and to organise 100 people strong draws where 20% of the competitors don't show up and the others roll in 30 minutes late. Something positive to come out of this pandemic is what seems to be a serious presence of junior rackets in North America. Dan Fisher's leading the way with the youngest crew in Montreal, shortly followed by New York and Zach Sachs, Philadelphia with Freddie Bristow, who's been pushing along fellow youngsters Henry Smith and Pete Dickinson, and Chicago with Cooper Pierce and Holden Pettinelli. I'm very hopeful the future is bright for North American rackets and starting the invasion towards the public schools tournament in 2021 or 2022. So, for the time being, remain in your bubbles, only hit with the people in your trusted group, and if it's all you can do, stay on your side. The professionals are thankful for the continued support from the North American Rackets Association and are excited to get back to domestic and international competition.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. I'm personally very sorry that we've not all been able to see each other this past season due to the pandemic. Who would have thought that an easily transferable disease would have kept the rackets community apart? As you all know, we usually thrive under scenarios where transferable diseases abound, but I will leave that alone for now. After Dennis Walsh passed away in 2016, the NARA board very kindly created the Walsh Award in his honor. The idea for the award would be to recognize someone who, through play both on and off the court, did his part to embrace what my dad held so close to his heart, the friendships and camaraderie of this game, and to do whatever he could to keep the game going forward and this community, the special community, together. The only stipulation for the recipient of this award to be chosen is that he is unanimously voted on by the North American Rackets Association Board. I'm happy to report that at this past annual board meeting, the NARA board members had a unanimous consensus in this year's recipient. The 2020 Walsh Award winner is an excellent American player in his own right. He's fit as a fiddle and is a constant contender in the tournaments which we usually host each year. He was a finalist in the 2019-2020 Canadian Amateur Singles and Doubles Championship and is always hanging around in the semis of the Amateur and Open tournaments. While prowess on court is not a requirement to win the Walsh Award, this year's winner has it in spades. Notably, this year's winner is given more shit than most people, and for no good reason, but he always takes it with ease and good humor, a testament to his strong character. His primary membership is in New York, but he keeps memberships in both Montreal and Chicago too. He's always the first to step up and volunteer for behind-the-scenes tasks and has been beyond helpful to this current NARA board. This year's recipient was the captain of the 2015 Knott Stevens Tour, which is a monumental and thankless task. He had a group of ruffians and somehow managed to get them all where they needed to be on time and on their best behavior. He somehow managed to keep that group out of jail, which was no easy task by any means. Lastly, the winner of this year's Walsh Award is just an all-around good guy. He gets the bigger picture, he respects the history and longevity of this great game and the people who play it. He always travels, he always supports, and he's enjoying everything that goes with this game. And he works hard to keep it intact and better moving forward. Please join me in congratulating Zach Sachs on his selection to be the 2020 recipient of the Walsh Award. Congratulations, Zach.
Thank you, Lucas. I'm extremely honored and humbled to accept the Walsh Award. Like many of us, I had the pleasure of knowing Dennis Walsh. His example and legacy are unparalleled in rackets. We can only hope to follow in his footsteps, to promote and grow the game of rackets, and to carry on lifelong friendships with the fantastic spirits that this game attracts and thrives off of. Playing rackets is such a privilege, but what is even more amazing is the character of our community. The always convivial bonhomie and the hit rate of great lads and lasses is unmatched anywhere. We're lucky to have this game and each other free and clear from squash. I know I'm not alone in looking forward to being on and off court as soon as possible and to be as far away as possible from real tennis serve strategy discussions. Thank you to the Walsh family for endowing such an award. Thank you to NARA for selecting me as a recipient, and far more importantly, for all that you do for our game. And thank you to Dennis for building the foundation of NARA, which we all benefit so much from today.
On behalf of the 2019 Not Stevens Tour, we'd first like to say thank you to Bill Stevens for creating a new way for players to discover the game of rackets. The tour is a powerful tradition that started in 1989 and it's lasted for more than 30 years. It's really the one big chance for new North American players to make it over to the UK solely for the purpose of playing rackets, touring, having a good time for around 10 days or so. There have been 8 teams from North America that have gone through the history of the tour. And as the 8th and final team, we wanted to say our thank yous to Bill, share a memory or two, and introduce the team. We recently published a report of our whole tour, but for this, I wanted just to focus on Eton. So here it goes. From Winchester, it was north to Windsor. Bill Stevens had left very specific instructions in the itinerary to turn right at the Burning Bush, a wrought iron lantern on Common Lane near the Eton Fives courts. This level of cryptic specificity got us around England with ease. We were easy to spot as we were old and not wearing Eton jackets. Peter Brake, lead professional, took us to the courts. We spent the afternoon hitting on the hallowed ground of Eton's 2 courts, trying out Eton Fives nearby, followed by dinner with the Beaks. A huge thank you to Peter, Richard, and Eton College for hosting our ragtag band of rackets players. Here's a shot of John Beam, one of 2 lefties on our team, serving to Richard Montgomery, who's the master in charge at Eton, but also an inaugural member of the 1989 Not Stevens Tour, the first tour from the UK to North America. Here's a shot of the legend himself, Bill Stevens, and his lovely wife Pauline. They made a surprise visit to see us at Eton to really send us off on the second leg of the tour. The shape of the Eton Fives courts that we played on are actually taken from the Eton Chapel, played in areas like the 2 on the right of the photo. And then, most importantly, the team. So starting in the front row, you had Stephen Merwin from the TNR, Philip Stockton, myself from the R&T in New York, Parker Brickley, also from the R&T in New York, and also, important to note, winner of the Salver, which is the tour MVP. Chapin Lee, representing the Racket Club of Chicago. Then the back row, Scott Pascarian from the TNR in Boston, John Beam from the Tuxedo Club, Joe Mariana, or vice captain from the DRC, and Devin Vrabel from Racket Club of Chicago. As a closing thought, we'd just like to say thank you to NARA, Bill Stevens, the late Jimmy Knott, and the TNRA for supporting efforts like the Not Stevens Tour to get new players into the game. It's an experience I'll never forget and a tradition that we're excited to see continue. Thanks again.
Hi, Nara. Hope everybody's doing great. I've been asked to tell a joke for this video today, and I was a little bit short on ideas given that this is a virtual format and will live perennially on the internet. And given that most jokes told in these circles typically don't do well in that format, I enlisted the help of probably the worst advisor to help me develop clean jokes, Mr. Fraser Anderson. So I'll give him full author's credit. And we got to brainstorming ideas, and frankly, we were going to do a skit involving his fake beady voice, and that didn't feel right because Paul's not around for us to laugh at. So we thought we'd write some limericks, and to be honest, they actually started out pretty clean and pretty decent. You know, like, we all miss our old buddy Lou, who too early bid us adieu. So quick with a story, my God, were they gory, but he always told at least 2. But pretty quickly, they kind of got, you know, going with some of the Rackets group and people. Like, you know, there once was a man we called Farmy, whose rackets proved occasionally handy. Related to Gourlay, much to his dismay, his surname would never be Shamandy. You know, okay, fine. Then we kind of thought, hey, maybe we can get a little racier, so, you know, try our hand at this one. There once was a fellow called Shagger who pilfered the bird of another. My poor buddy Steve could not believe that little George Potter could snag her. All right, fine, shareable. Think we drew a line at this one. There once was a young boy called Durrell, who in Monty went through bloody hell. Young lady was smitten, his member was bitten. we report that he phoned home unwell. And after much deliberation, we really thought we narrowed down to these two limericks to leave you with. There was a president called Smash who preferred to live life on the lash. Then came John Larkin. COVID times did darken. We can't wait for the next Nara bash. I miss travels to Manhattan. I even miss Rory Sutton. But soon we'll be back. Galleries we will pack. I can't wait to yell, load the cannon. Hope everybody's staying safe and well. Take care and load the cannon.
This is a very powerful presidential birthday message for Kendrick. Hello, Kendrick. I was reached out to by your friend Brian Ross Owens. Okay, I love those names with the three names, Brian Ross Owens. Sounds like a serial killer. He almost has three first names for his whole name. Brian Ross and Owens. He threw the S on to throw me off. But Kendrick, I know that you're a strong supporter of mine, and I want you to know I'm still your president. Okay, you can tell everybody. You remember that Elton John song? You can tell everybody this is your song. Well, you can tell everybody this is your president, okay? Because we know there was a totally fake election, a fake inauguration, now a fake president living in my house. So I am currently conducting strong Republican presidential skills from the Florida White House, known as, you know, Mar-a-Lago. And we're going to take back the country. I'm forming the Patriot Party, okay? And we're going to divide the Republican Party and probably lose a lot of elections to Democrats because we'll divide the party. But eventually I'll win. I think eventually I'll at least win, and that's what's important. So don't worry. You're going to get your president back officially in less than 4 years. And for now, we have a fake president in my White House. I'm in the better White House in Florida, in Mar-a-Lago, and I'll be back in less than 4 years. It's like shorter than the Olympics, your president will be back. But we're not here to talk about my great re-election. We're here to talk about you. And I know that on January 31st, which is the last day of January, not a lot of people know that, but it's the last day of January, you have a birthday, okay? And obviously the fact that you love Trump, you love your president, was enough for me to do this message. But then I hear that you love to hunt elk and deer. Okay, so you're a great hunter. So obviously, like, you're not just one of these business Republicans. You live the Republican walk and talk. We love that. And you play oh, well, look at that. It says you play rackets. I don't know what that means, racquetball or tennis rackets, but either way, elite sports. So I'm told you're from Colorado, but now you live in Newport, Rhode Island, with all those mansions, all the beautiful I think I might buy one. What do you think of that? Maybe I'll buy the Elms or the Breakers. They've got all these famous mansions in Newport, Rhode Island. So Kendrick, you are, I don't know, you sound like you might be taking this loss harder than me because you sound like the ultimate Trump supporter. So we're taking it back in 2024. That's your birthday present from your president, okay? We're going to get more in 2024. That's going to be my slogan. So have a happy and strong birthday, and we'll see what happens.
So, to wrap up, thank you, Phil, Chuck, Kendrick, and a special thanks to Lucas and Connor, who have coordinated this event. Many congratulations to Zach and Mike on your awards, and thanks again to all our professionals. I'm fortunate to have the help of 7 NARA board reps across all the different clubs in North America. All are committed, all are passionate about the betterment of our game. Collectively, we want to take this opportunity to thank you, our membership, which consists of 437 patrons and 84 benefactors for a total membership of 521 people. Thank you for your continued support that you provide to our organization. It is our hope that perhaps in the spring, but certainly in the fall, we can all be together again. In the meantime, a date for the calendar. New York will be hosting a rackets exhibition on April 19th at 4 o'clock Eastern. James Stout, Neil Smith, Peter Cipriano, host of the new Rackets podcast Hammer Time, available wherever you listen to your podcasts, and myself will battle it out, and this will be streamed. Hopefully the tournaments will kick off in the fall, and I've even heard that the Quintathlon Committee are considering a spring 2022 event, only a year away. Finally, please do not forget Racks Post Vax. If we were all together in the President's Room of the Montreal Racket Club on the Thursday night of the Can-Am, I would be confident that I could start a successful Racks Post Vax chant. We have done it with far worse war cries. However, if you wanted to try it at home, tonight, alone, that's also fine. Questions may arrive from spouses, children, domestic pets, but be bold, be your best. Racks Post Vax. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. We miss you all. We're very excited to get together again. And until we can meet in person, farewell. Thank you.